Prelim night 2 for the North-South 100 saw the cream rise to the top in both the A feature and the B feature. Bobby Pierce was able to outduel Devin Moran to claim the win in the A feature, while Jonathan Davenport ran away in the B feature, only really maybe feeling a threat from Ricky Thornton Jr. in the last laps, but made a daring move through lap traffic that really sealed the deal. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. The A feature definitely had the better racing at the front of the field between Devin Moran and Bobby Pierce. About 5 laps into the race, we saw some excellent dueling sliders from both Moran and Pierce. Let's take a look at this right here. You can see Pierce dives to the inside, heaves it in, slides up in front of Moran. Moran looks to the inside, gets a really good run off of 4, slides it in 1, and goes to the outside in 2. And then Pierce crosses him over, goes right back to the inside, dives in 3, slides right up in coming out of 4. And so we were going to see this for a couple of laps here. It was a lot of fun there. Eventually, Moran had enough. About 2 laps later, 18 to go here. You can see he will slide up coming out of turn 2 on Bobby Pierce here. And he says, I'm not going to stay on the outside and continue to do this. And he kind of takes the middle here of the track, really powers through, and would not let Bobby Pierce pull the crossover there on him. And he would stay in the lead with Pierce trailing him for the next 4 or 5 laps. And we would have a red flag actually came out for Kyle Bronson at this point. And he did a barrel roll here. Let's take a look at this. Just ripping it, and then just clips the cushion there and rolls over twice. Fortunately, gravity brings him back down on all 4. He actually said it was a really rough ride in the interview that he gave at the track, but he was A-okay. He said that the frame rail dug in, and it actually rattled his cage, flipping, doing those 2 barrel rolls there. And then once we got back to green, Bobby Pierce would make a move here on Devin Moran about 1 lap into the green flag for the restart, and he would dive under Moran, never look back. And that was pretty much it there for the A feature. Let's take a look here at this final pass, or at the race-winning pass. So Pierce really gets a good run off the top there of 4, dives down in 1 and 2, pulls the slider coming out of 2, slides up in front of Devin Moran, and Moran really doesn't have anything for him. Bobby Pierce does a good job kind of sealing that crossover lane there, and then he slides up, protecting any kind of move by Moran. And he would never look back. And I guess there's a little bit of a good race here with Marlar and McDowell for a couple laps, which was pretty interesting. But for the race for the lead, that was it. That was the race-winning pass, and Pierce led the rest of the race, the last 12 laps. As for the B feature, as I said, Davenport started out in the lead, and he led, I think, every single lap. Nick Hoffman was there for a little bit, but Ricky Thornton Jr. got him really quick off the start and moved into second, and Hoffman was in third. The biggest story, I guess, or the best racing was right here with Garrett Alberson as he was working his way around Tim McCreadie, Brandon Overton, and eventually Nick Hoffman. Again, this is about 10 laps in. I'm going to focus here on the right side of your screen where you can see Alberson is kind of running that middle line, where you see McCreadie and Overton are down there on the bottom. Let's take a look at this here. So you can see Alberson's already kind of worked his way around McCreadie, and he's going to stay on the outside there, going into 1 and 2. So you got some really good racing here, almost 3 wide there. Gets a really good run coming out of 2. Staying on that cushion, maybe a little bit off there, the high middle. Comes off of top of 4, gets a really good run, is almost to Overton's quarter panel, and he would continue working that. So we got some really good racing here between these 3. It was a lot of fun, a lot of entertaining. This is probably, like I said, the best part of the race. And you can see there, he's doing the crossover on Overton, diving to the inside. He would eventually get around him. And then a few laps later, he would get around Nick Hoffman as well. This is what I was talking about here. This is kind of the only time where Davenport might have been threatened by Ricky Thornton Jr. You'll see Thornton come into the picture here very shortly, but you can see Davenport goes to the outside of this lap car, dives to the inside of the other one. Ross Robinson's right in front of him. There's Ricky Thornton Jr. in that black and orange car. New look there. He's kind of closing in, but Davenport does an excellent job right here. Really sends it in through the middle, is able to thread the needle here, gets above Ross Robinson, puts 3 cars between him and Ricky Thornton Jr. in just 2 laps, and Ricky Thornton Jr. just was not able to maneuver around that lap traffic as good as Davenport was, and Davenport would take home the win. Here is your final results from MyRacePass.com. Bobby Pierce in first, Devin Moran second, Mike Marlar third, Max Blair fourth, Dale McDowell fifth, faded to fifth, Tanner English in sixth, Hudson O'Neill in seventh, Dalton Wilson moved up 3 spots to eighth, Zach Dome moved up 4 spots to ninth, Drake Trauman in 10th, rounded out your top 10, Corey Hedgecock, in 11th there, moved up 6 spots. Dustin Linville in 12th. Donald McIntosh has to race his way in through a B main and then moved up 11 spots. He was your hard charger, finishing in 13th. Michael Chilton, 14th. Trent Ivey, 15th. Dylan McGowan, 16th. Billy Green, 17th. Jordan Kohler faded 15 spots to 18th. Tyler Collins in 19th. Blake Creech in 20th. Kyle Bronson, obviously with that wreck, finished in 21st. Josh Rice went out early, finished in 22nd. Brandon Hargrove, 23rd. And Trevor Landrum in 24th. So that is how they finished for the A feature. Here is the B feature results. Obviously, JD Superman in first. RTJ in second. Garrett Alberson moved up 3 spots to third. Jason Jameson was really, really doing good. So didn't really get to see what was going on with him because they were kind of maybe focusing on Alberson and then Davenport moving through the lap traffic. But he obviously moved up 5 spots and finished in fourth. So clearly there was some good racing probably there with him, with Tim McCreadie, Nick Hoffman, Brandon Overton, obviously, and maybe Ross Bales. Unclear if Bales was behind him or what, but clearly we know we had to pass Overton, Hoffman, and McCreadie, so that could have been fun to watch if you were there at the track. McCreadie ended up finishing in 5th. Hoffman faded 4 spots to 6th. Ross Bales in 7th. Brandon Overton in 8th. Ethan Dotson in 9th. Carson Ferguson in 10th. Jimmy Owens in 11th, Spencer Hughes 12th, Devin Gilpin 13th, Tyler Erb in 14th. Gilpin moved up 9 spots. I think he might have been your hard charger. That looks to be the case there. Trip Gerald in 15th, Jordan Weaver in 16th, Boom Briggs 17th, Ross Robinson 18th, Derek Groomer in 19th, Robbie Hensley in 20th, Tyler Stevens in 21st, Clay Harris in 22nd, RJ Conley in 23rd, and Austin Lay in 24th. So that is how they rounded up your B feature. Looking forward to the main event tonight, 100 laps for the North-South 100. This is definitely, I think, one of the gems, and hopefully 100 laps, we'll get to really see some excellent racing. Hopefully we get it. It's just as good as what we saw at Fairbury, and that's what I'm hoping for because that is obviously race of the year. So even if it's just maybe not as good, but just gets up there, you know that it'll be a great race. But let me know what you guys made of these 2 features for the prelim night 2 for the North-South 100 at Florence. Let me know in the comments below.